The Story Grows. I'm Brian Patton. Today we welcome Jet Jaguar bassist Jorge Ramírez to the podcast. The new Jet Jaguar record, Severance, is out next Friday, October 24th on Steamhammer Records. Jorge talks about growing up in Cancun and the Mexican metal scene, winning the 2017 Wacken Metal Battle, the dark themes behind Severance, and more. Severance is a super fun record musically while tackling some heavier issues on the lyrical side, and Jet Jaguar just brings that traditional heavy metal sound that has endured all these years. So make sure you check out Severance when it comes out. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of As the Story Grows. If you're brand new to the podcast, welcome. Thanks for checking us out. You can find links in our show notes or at asthestorygrows.com for our mailing list, our Discord server, and our Patreon page. You could also leave a comment. Sandtail1988 left a comment on chapter 638 with Lala from Burning Witches. They wrote talented and fire emoji, metal hand emoji. Thanks for leaving a comment. If you leave a comment, I will read it on the podcast. So go ahead and leave a comment on your podcast platform of choice. And if you would like an As the Story Grows sticker, you can email me at asthestorygrows@gmail.com with sticker in the subject line and your address in the message, and I will send you a sticker. Enjoy today's conversation with Jorge from Jet Jaguar.
Well, yeah, the band is
Based in
from
Cancun.
Cancun.
Okay.
Yeah, most of the guys are there. At least 2 out of the 4. I'm living in Barcelona currently.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, been living here for a year now.
Okay.
So, yeah, but yeah, the other 3 guys are in Mexico.
Okay. What took you to Barcelona?
Me and my girlfriend wanted to move here.
Okay.
We really like it, and also music-wise, I think what we do is well received in Europe. Actually, the drummer Jimmy is planning to move to Germany shortly.
Okay.
And we're with a German label, so it kind of makes sense for us to just try to move things here to Europe.
Yeah. Is that kind of going to be the slow transition for the band for eventually everybody to move there, or does it just kind of whoever wants to? And because of the internet, it doesn't really matter that you're spread out as long as you just like meet in that space for rehearsals.
Well, I know that at least me and Jimmy, we want to stay here.
Yeah.
I don't know about the two of the other guys. One of them actually tried to live in Finland for some time.
Okay.
But I guess the cold got the best of him, and so he decided to go back to sunny Cancun.
Yeah.
And the other guy, I don't know. I guess he would be more open to eventually moving.
Yeah, that's funny. Did you grow up in Cancun?
Yeah, I'm actually from there. Yeah, so born and raised from Cancun.
Nice. What was growing up in Cancun like?
Well, it was fun. I guess that after visiting some of the other cities in Mexico, I understood that it was not such a bad place to grew up in. And I mean, metal wise, not a lot going on. There are some bands, but it's very, very underground. Like, it's not, when you think about metal, you don't ever think about Cancun, right?
Right.
But yeah, somehow I met some cool guys and some very talented guys throughout the years, and I'm fortunate enough to having crossed ways with musicians that wanted to do the same as me. And so that's how things turned out. And we started Jet Jaguar 11 years ago.
Yeah.
So we've been around for a while now.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to ask, I'll just ask now, like, yeah, Mexico is not, I don't think about heavy metal and Mexico. You're probably the first Mexican band I've ever chatted with over, this podcast's long existence. If Cancun doesn't have a good scene, is there a good scene in Mexico as a whole, like in different parts where, like, I don't know, the scene is better, whether that's, I don't know, any genre of metal, I guess?
Yeah, I would say Mexico City, hands down, has the best metal scene out there. Well, in Mexico.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of venues, a lot of bands, awesome musicians, like a lot of concerts in general, not just for metal, but also for it's a good spot for alternative music in general.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a cool place to hang out.
Nice. What got you personally into music and then into metal?
I'm gonna be honest. Like, for example, into music, my dad always loved the Beatles, for example. So I grew up like listening to albums like Abbey Road, and I don't know, when I heard the medley that's on the B side of that album, it was like, you can actually do this, like, do something like very different, and like pasting songs together and create something like very, very original. That was like mind blowing to me when I was like I don't know, 5 or 6 years old. And then when I was like, I don't know, 11, 12, I got Guitar Hero for Christmas. And that exposed me obviously to a lot of great bands and got me more into metal as a subgenre. Black Sabbath, Metallica, Guns N' Roses, like bands that you start with.
Yeah.
And that was like the gateway for me.
Nice. What led you to bass guitar? Were you like originally a guitar player, or I know you did vocals at the very beginning of the band?
Yeah. So when I was like in middle school and high school, I played rhythm guitar. So I've always been like on that side of the instruments. And then the guys originally wanted me to just sing, but the bass player at that time like didn't he had other priorities and wouldn't learn the songs and that kind of stuff. So he didn't last long in the band, and so the other guys knew that I already knew how to at least play rhythm guitar. So they told me, it's gonna come natural to you.
Yeah.
I guess that this story, you've heard this story a lot.
This is my story. That's why I own a bass, because someone was like, well, you play guitar, so you can play bass, right? And it's like,
exactly.
I mean, I guess
it happens.
It happens.
Or more often than that. But yeah, that's how it went for me. And I'm happy also, being that I sang at the beginning, also I do a lot of backing vocals. I love doing backing vocals and harmonies and all that. And so, yeah, that's how it went.
Yeah. Let's talk about Jet Jaguar. How'd this band get started, and kind of what was your, I don't know, what led you to kind of a traditional heavy metal, glam metal sound, if you will?
Yeah. So it was around 2013, 2014 when we started out the band. And as I said, like Cancun's not a place with tons and tons of bands. So you kind of get to know like everyone just by going to the gigs. And then you start like seeing the same bands and seeing the same faces. And so there were like 2 or 3 other bands at the time that split up. And then 2 of these guitar players got together. They're no longer in Jet Jaguar, unfortunately, but so they started out the band, and then they rang me up, and also Jimmy, the drummer. And so the 4 of us got together, and so we come from like different bands whose split up at the time, or some of the other guys. Some of the guys wouldn't continue with their current bands, and they just wanted to try out something new. And yeah, that's like we were like the members who no longer continued with their other band at the time.
Yeah. And then what led you to this kind of sound and style of metal?
So the four of us would love, the classic bands like Maiden, Priest, Saxon, Accept, all that stuff. But at that time also, there was like this new wave of traditional heavy metal going on with bands like Skullfist, Enforcer, Steelwing, just to name a few. And so like it was like kind of this revival wave, and it blended like the classic sound of the 80s, like speed metal, a little of glam, of course. And yeah, we loved the shit out of those albums like Enforcers, Diamonds, our Skullfist, Hell of the Pack. And so that it was like a very direct inspiration, because it was like, okay, so other guys are doing this. Like it really like showed us the way that we could follow. And
yeah, there's really a timelessness to that kind of traditional heavy metal sound. Is like, even as things get heavier and crazier and experimental, like that genre remains. Like bands are still drawn to that, to play that, and it's cool.
Yeah. And funny enough, it's mostly Canadian bands and Swedish bands who are recreating this style. And I love it. I still love it.
Yeah. Was the name of the band inspired by Godzilla?
Yeah, so one of the guitar players at the time had this Godzilla like fighting video game. And Jet Jaguar was one of the characters that you could play as.
Yeah.
And he came up with the name because previously the band was called Rollerblade. But it's very silly if you think about it, and we knew it was like kind of silly, and it was like a professional name. But then he mentioned Jet Jaguar, and I said to him, like, that sounds like a serious band. I don't know, like if I see that name online or whatever, for me it's like, okay, these guys, maybe they know what they're doing. So
yeah. You guys won the 2017 Wacken Air Metal Battle. How was that experience for you guys? And did it kind of elevate the band's stature where, you could be reaching out to like Steamhammer and...
Yeah. So, it was like something, a very important moment in our career, and also for us, like on a personal level, I would say. It was the first time I ever traveled outside of Mexico, for example. It was the first time of many things, to be honest. Like we were like 20, 21. The singer at the time was 24. He was the oldest one. And so, yeah, we were like, it was like very, a moment that defined a lot of things that came afterwards. We started doing more tours, and playing at some festivals in Mexico. And so, yeah, it was definitely when we started taking things more seriously, and we like made the decision that this is what we wanted to do as a main gig, and yeah, I think we've been like progressing, but obviously and unfortunately we still don't like make a living out of this. It's very hard. as you can imagine. And but yeah, I mean, it was definitely like something that impacted our lives in a lot of ways.
Yeah. It's an eye opening. Like, oh shit, other people like this. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Yeah. This new record, like we said, it's coming out on Steamhammer. How did you guys end up with the label?
so this is actually the second German label that we work with. So for the first album, we were with a label called Pride and Joy. They're great guys, but yeah, we wanted to, look for something, for a label that could help us promote the album in a more in a better way, I would say. And so we reached out to a lot of German labels. I think that since we played at Wacken, like we had this idea, like, okay, Germany, it's like the place to be and try to play the most, at least in Europe. And so that made sense to us. And we had already recorded the songs for the album, like they were mixed, mastered, and everything. And so Steamhammer, like they replied back. Shout out to Ollie. He's a great guy. He's our the guy who's always in touch with us, and he liked the songs. And we were doing a tour supporting Anvil throughout some cities in Germany, and so we agreed on him going to see us play in Hanover, Germany, and I told him, like, okay, he was already kind of interested, but I told him, like, why don't you go see us play live, and we can, like, continue the conversation and see if you really like us, because I thought that that way he could, like, convince himself, okay, if he really liked us or not. And so fortunately he liked the show, and yeah, that's how things went, and yeah, he we signed with Steamhammer, I think, in January or February. So, and we played at that gig in Hanover in November. So yeah.
Album is called Severance. That's kind of the track right in the middle of the album. What led to that being the title of the record? And I know, like, Fool's Paradise is about kind of American politics, but what are things that, like, you guys were thinking about when you were writing this album?
Yeah, so the lyrics were mostly written by Jimmy and me, and he came up with the title, actually. I told him, like, are you sure? Because there's also a show named like that. But it made sense also to us because in the last 5 years, we've been through a lot of changes on a personal level, but also, like, we were, like, on a good streak, I would say, before the pandemic hit. And yeah, we had to come to a full stop, and 3 members quit the band as well, and so it was like this moment, and a lot of changes were happening very fast, and it made sense when he mentioned this or suggested this title. And the lyrics deal with things such as feeling stuck in life, feeling frustrated, or feeling like you're not doing as well as you used to, and also talks about some other serious stuff, such as, for example, I wrote the lyrics for Disposable Minds, which talks about how the system, like, entrap us on a, and that pretty much from the moment you're born, like, your life is already decided just by the circumstances and your context, and some deterministic stuff. and also we have Anthropocene, which I also wrote. Well, at least the lyrics, which deal with um, it's like written from the Earth's perspective and like
Mhm.
talking to humankind and and just reminding us that we are not like the owners of this world, and that a lot of species over millennia has come, and then some massive extinction hit,
Yeah.
and but life flourishes again and continues, and like we are just passengers
Yeah.
in this if you consider like the geological scale of time and all that stuff. And so I don't know, that's a little more kind of more of a crazy topic.
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, all in all, like we wanted to write um, more about some serious stuff in
Yeah.
comparison to the previous album.
Yeah. Yeah. It's this balance of like heavier topics or real meaningful topics lyrically, while the music is like still has like fun party atmosphere.
Yeah, I would say at least side A of the album.
Yeah. Side B definitely comes down a little bit. How the artwork for this album is incredible. Does that tie into the record at all, or was it just like we want something super badass that people are like, "Whoa, I gotta pick this up"?
um, well, obviously you have to make something that visually stands out
Yeah,
and catches the eye of people, and hopefully they'll stay for the music.
yeah,
But yeah, it has some lore. You could say that we imagined that this was like, well, we like wanted to do our version of Jet Jaguar. We have like our own mecha that
yeah.
an illustrator drew for us, and yeah, that's gonna be like part of the back cover as well as in the booklet.
Nice.
It's gonna be artwork for the next single
Oh,
for
nice.
Mach 10. But yeah, so we imagine like this was like that character's headquarters, and that the band also lived there, and yeah, but that's like kind of the lore behind it. Obviously, it's not something that we will explain,
Yeah.
only if you ask. um, but yeah, that was like the idea behind it. But yeah, the main thing was to show something that would stand out.
Yeah, it's super cool. Album's out October 24th. What's your plan for the rest of the year? You're in Europe, band's in Mexico. Like,
We don't have like any tour plans yet. We've been in talks with some agents in Germany, and for us, after our last tour being supporting Anvil, we think that at this point, what makes the most sense is to continue supporting bigger bands,
yeah,
to try and gain some exposure, and also try to book some festivals. We're gonna do well. The other three guys are gonna do a listening party in Mexico City, one day prior to the release date,
nice.
just to gather with some fans and sell some of the new merch. But yeah, I mean, other than that, we're still like planning out what we're gonna do next year, in terms of touring and yeah, all that stuff.